I have the OMP Hobby First Step RC Heli 101. It's a micro 6-axis gyro flybarless altitude hold micro helicopter. I've got it programmed into the TX16S. This is the first test flight with this on the TX16S, and I want to make sure that all the functions are working before I publish my model files again. So let's go ahead and connect our battery, and let's make sure that our bind switch is working. Yep, okay, so now we're bound up to it. Alright, so first off, we're going to put it on the ground. I've got wind out here this morning of 3 to 5 miles per hour. I'll put it over here on the ground, and the first thing I want to do is test the one-key takeoff. The gyro calibration switch position is working fine, and we'll also test the arming to make sure we can take off manually. So what you want to do is set your throttle to 50%. Okay, and I have the top left-hand switch SF programmed for my one-key takeoff. So let's go ahead and flip that forward. Alright, and we are in the air, and as you can see, I've got a bit of wind out here today. Okay, so let's get it over here, and let me get it back in the air, and now we will test the one-key landing. So I'm flipping the switch forward. My one-key landing didn't seem to work. Alright, so I've got some work to do on that. Strange. I tested it yesterday and it worked. Oh well. Alright, so let's fly it around a little bit and see. Since this one had the smoothest yaw rate on the stock transmitter, I've got this one set up and programmed the same as I have the Ishin E129. So I just wanted to see if I needed to decrease the expo that I have on this one in the yaw rate. But it's actually feeling pretty good. So it looks like I'm going to be able to go with the same setup on both of these little micro helicopters. Sweet. And when we land, I will test when we get ready to land, I will test the emergency stop function. Let's make sure that that's working. And we're coming into the wind right now. And it's pushing against the 3 to 5 mile per hour wind pretty well. We were going into the wind right there. Pretty slick. Well, this is such a smooth helicopter, and it's actually pretty darn smooth on the stock transmitter. Nothing as smooth. Nothing on these micros is as smooth with the stock transmitter as it is with the TX16S, because you just have so much resolution. But this one had the smoothest of the 3 micros that I've recently reviewed. This one had the smoothest yaw rate with the stock transmitter of the 3. I was really, really impressed with how smooth the yaw rate was on the stock transmitter. And with the TX16S, of course, it's even smoother. You just can't beat a hobby grade transmitter for flying these micro ready to fly aircraft, whether it's a helicopter, quadcopter, airplane. It really doesn't matter. There's just absolutely no comparison whatsoever. Now look how smooth that is. Isn't that awesome? But I am just really, really impressed with the amount of resolution you have on the sticks with this, with the TX16S. It's just fantastic. And there is no programming switches on these micro aircraft for high rate, low rate. You know, on the stock transmitter you have a low rate and you have a high rate. So binding it up to the TX16S, they're always in high rate, and then you can use your dual rate and expo to soften those axes if you want to. I've got all three axes on this one at 100%, and then I've just smoothed it out with expo. But look at that. There's just no comparison whatsoever to the smoothness on the controls. I think that this RadioMaster TX16S is probably the single best piece of RC equipment I've ever gotten. You know, it's just one transmitter to rule them all, you know. It sure beats bringing out multiple transmitters and being able to fly these micro aircraft so much better than with the stock transmitters they come with. They're just, I don't know, there's just no comparison until you've flown one of these with the hobby grade transmitter. It's hard to explain, but they fly like much larger aircraft when you're flying them with the hobby grade transmitter. Coming into the wind now. Wants to ascend a little bit going into the wind. Well, look at that. Look, even in 3 to 5 miles per hour wind, look how stable it is. You know, you get a little bit of drift, but, you know, I mean, for the size and the weight of the aircraft, the fact that that you can have some wind and it doesn't have any problem flying in it. Just an awesome little helicopter. What do you guys think about how smooth that is in all three axes? Isn't that amazing for a little micro helicopter like this? Alright, so everything feels awesome to me. I don't have any complaints about how this is handling with the way I've got it programmed on here. So I'm getting ready to release group 6 of my model files, OpenTX model files. So this helicopter will be one of them. The Ishin E129 will be one of them. So out of the 3 aircraft, I will have 2 of the micro aircraft in the model file that I publish. And the 3rd aircraft will be the Top RC Lightning V2 Sport Glider. Unfortunately, I've only got 2 videos of that aircraft because I crashed it hard. But it was complete pilot error, and the amount of dual ray and expo that I had on that glider during the maiden flight was just right on the money. If I had to change anything, I may add another, I may take out about 5 points of expo on the elevator, but it was a very, very aerobatic sport glider. I absolutely love that glider. Very high performance, probably the highest performance plug and fly factory aircraft I've ever had, I've ever flown. and its model file will be in there as well. I can't remember if I've published the setup file for it yet, but I will be publishing the setup file also for all three of those aircraft if I haven't. I can't remember if I've published them or not, but I will publish setup files for all three of those aircraft as well. And my timer is getting ready to go off here in a minute. So there we go. So let's see if our kill switch is working. Let's bring it back over here. I want to get it down close to the ground before I hit the kill switch. Okay, so let's descend a little bit. No, my kill switch didn't work either. Okay, I want to test one more thing. So I've got to go back and take a look at these switches for the one key takeoff, one key land. I will have them working before I publish the model file. But I want to make sure that I can arm the motor manually, take off and land manually too. So let's see if that's working. Yeah, it is. Good. So we'll take off manually here. And then we'll land manually. The one key takeoff was working, but it looks like the one key landing is not, and the kill switch is not working yet. But I will have those working before I publish the model file for this little heli. Everything else seems to be working absolutely fine. So awesome. I don't have to change anything on the programming for this heli that I've got in the TX16S other than making sure the one key land works as well as the kill switch. And then I'll be publishing them hopefully in the next few days. So keep an eye out for those. But awesome, awesome little micro helicopter. Excellent beginner helicopter. One of my favorites that I've ever flown. There'll be links to it in the show notes as well as the TX16S transmitter. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.